So right there you could see an Alpine one, and it's Esteban Ocon. Second seems to be Nobuharu Masashitsu, and third is a Haas. No, it's Wanyu. Okay. It looked like a Haas. I don't have very good eyes, it seems. But the Alfa Romeo rope looked like a Haas rope. Anyway, now I'll do the Carnage. So for Carnage today, we're at France, which is actually quite a nice moment because my first video ever on this channel was called the UnSaftey Car, and it too was in France on the opening lap of my 2022 season, and now we're here in the 2023 season. Anyway, I lined up on the front, Charles Leclerc was second, and I think it was Perez that was third. But the first DNF of the race is Carlos Sainz, so let's go to where he DNFs. As we go on to lap 3 here, we have Carlos Sainz, and then right behind him is the next car that will DNF, which is Fernando Alonso. So we come up, and out of the race he goes. And so now I'll show it from his cockpit view, and then we'll see the next DNF. So he's driving around, you can just see the back of my car. He comes around, and his tyre's off, and he's out of the race. Now for the next DNF. So the next DNF is Fernando Alonso's. So he's driving behind me, he comes up, and bang, into the road, and a lot seems to go on there. So now I'll show it from a different angle. Currently I've got the camera focused on Hamilton's perspective, because it shows it quite well, because Fernando Alonso comes into Hamilton. And then he's hitting the back by one of the Alpines, which I'm pretty sure is Ocon. Actually, I'll check. Never mind, it isn't Ocon. Ocon is the one directly in front. It's Latifi. So Hamilton is sandwiched between the two Alpines, and the one in front ends up winning the race. After Fernando Alonso's DNF, we have the other McLaren, Lando Norris, along with Max Verstappen. In they go, and away they go. There goes Max spinning, and Norris is just directly behind him as he goes out. Here it is from Max Verstappen's engine cover view. I don't actually know what this camera is called. So he goes in and he spins out, hits the wall, which causes him to spin and come to a halt. And then in his wing mirror, in his rearview mirror, you can actually see Norris's car bobbing around. And then here it is from Norris's view. In they both go. He goes flying out, and Norris is pushed across the road until he comes to a halt just behind Max. The next DNF is a little bit after Max and Norris's, but still on the same lap. It is Antonio Giovinazzi's. At least I think it's on the same lap. He has an engine malfunction a little later on in the lap. And away he goes. And he's out. So, next DNF. After Antonio Giovinazzi's DNF, we have Pierre Gasly. So, we are driving around here when it's just about to come up. We come round, I go wide for some reason, and then we come back around, and away he goes. And that is a terrible angle. Wow, is that how long I've been on? The comment I made there was just because I was surprised that I'd been on for 2 hours and 30 minutes. He's taken a lot of time to set up. But there he goes, both tyres off, and you can't see pretty much anything in front of him because of the tyres. And then they're gone. The next DNF is Giuliano Alesi. So out goes Pierre Gasly, and then there goes Alesi. Oh, that's some sparks. So we watch Pierre go flying out, and then as I come back onto the track, I just nudge him, and his tyre's gone, and he's off the track, and by the boundary, which I'm pretty sure crosses to the other half of the track, which I don't know why it's not like a sealed barrier. And I'm not certain. Oh wait, no, I actually remember now. It's so that they can get vehicles to the other side of the track without like having the cars wait for so long if the cars have been damaged. Now I remember. I don't know why that didn't come from me. Anyway, next DNF. The next DNF is Charles Leclerc. So saw the cars come around with my teammate Daniel Ricciardo in front, and then I'm pretty sure it's Wanyu followed by me. He comes up, then I'm pretty sure this is where we go like 4 abreast, and I come round and swerve him out the race. So here it is from my camera angle. I'm driving along, then there's 1 car, 2 cars, and here comes a 3rd, but no, away he goes, and I don't even do the trick I usually use to get cars out by latching onto the tower. I just nudge his wing and he goes flying. And then here it is from his view of the same angle. Away he goes and off with his tyre. Next up, after a pretty lengthy gap, is Mick Schumacher here. And I had just gone into the pits at the end of a safety car, I'm pretty sure. I think it was the end of a safety car. Anyway, it left me in last place. And so I was trying to fight back up by overtaking people when they went into the pits. But that plan wasn't going so well because I'd only got ahead of Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin, his teammate, as well as eventually getting ahead of my teammate. And so I tried to cause a safety car by doing that, so that I could eventually catch up. And that did work, as you can see, the safety car leaving there. Here it is from his perspective. He just drives in, and he's taken out the race. And then the safety car leaving again, just driving up there. Away he goes over there. Next up we have Mick's teammate, Nikita Mazepin. And here he is fighting with me as the race gets going again, as the safety car is lifted. And he's DNF'd in pretty much the exact same way. And also, it's very annoying for me because I DNF'd him directly before the start-finish line, which I'm pretty sure is that line there. If I DNF'd him, like, 10 meters later, it would be much easier for me to find his DNF, but sadly I have to watch an entire lap to record this. Also, if you've been enjoying, please like and subscribe. Next up on the DNFs is George Russell, and this is the point in the race where I realised that I am not getting any points unless I go backwards and DNF stuff and get get points that way. And so that's how George goes out at the end of the race when I'm going backwards. I'll show it from a slightly different angle now. So here's George driving through, and bang, he's out of the race because of the person directly ahead of him in the race. And then I get going and deal a lot of carnage later on. The next DNF in the race isn't really the next DNF in the race, but the next, not chronologically anyway, but the next position way through the track wise is Daniel Ricciardo, who goes out like that. So now I'll show it from a different angle. So here's Daniel Ricciardo going along with a car behind him, and then I just come in and somehow take out his left front tyre when I hit his right front. What? I come in, clip the car in front of him without taking off my own tyre, slam into his front and take off his left tyre from the right hand side. What a weird way of the physics working. Anyway, next I'll go with the next one, not chronologically, spatially in the race, which I'm pretty sure is Tsunoda, who's directly in front of him right here. It is Tsunoda, so let's just go with his. So, oh, oops. So he comes around and hits me as I'm just getting going again. I then reverse and accidentally slam into one of the Alpines there, who also gets taken out, but that's not important for this section, and then there goes my teammate. So yes, a lot of carnage in that one leg area. So here it is from Tsunoda's cockpit camera. Going around, and bang, there goes one car, then there's the car from behind, and then while he can't see it, there goes Daniel Ricciardo. Here it is again from Daniel Ricciardo's cockpit, so you can see the other 2 cars already. Oh, never mind, it doesn't work. Oh well. Anyway, next car. As the guy who won the race, Ocon, drove for Alpine. The Alpine that went out because of me couldn't be anyone but Latifi. And so there he is, slamming into my car, crossing half of the track, and going out the race. I know we've covered this section of the race 3 times now for the 3 different drivers that have gone out here. Kind of 4 if you include Russell. But it's just how I have to do it, simply due to the fact that I'm giving every single driver that goes out their own little section. kind of. If they go out if there's two cars colliding, they go out together, then I give it as two parts, but they still kind of get their own segment. Looking at the race graph of this area is so funny, because you've got all of the DNFs before me, then me, then just 4 separately on their own. I just realised I've been miscounting, because it's 5 on their own, because of the first car I took out when I started going backwards after George, who would be the person that was in around first place, which is Sergio Perez, and then the 2 Mercedes, Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton, directly behind him. So there he is going out and getting hit by his 2 friends that were kind of driving with him. So here come Perez, Bottas and Hamilton. And 1, 2, 3, and they all go together. Somehow the 2 Mercedes get going again though. Here it is from Hamilton's cinematic camera, so you can see him just going into the back of the other 2. And there is a moving hard tyre. He then waits for Perez's car to go away. I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure Hamilton just doesn't end up finishing the race, because after his collision with Bottas and stuff, he then goes into the pits to get his car, like, pit stopped, but Bottas isn't there, and yet he kind of just waits there, despite everything going on around him. So his car was kind of sat here for a while, and then eventually his tyres just swapped softs, and he still doesn't get going. It's really weird. And then that's the end of the footage that I have recorded here. But anyway, we've got the next cars that DNF'd. So here we have Bottas driving along, and him and Lance Stroll are the 2 cars left to DNF. So I then drive in, and that happens, and neither of us get DNF'd. Here's quickly what a few of us have sawn inside of the cockpit, and then I'll show you my perspective of that. And so here's my perspective of it. Open to the air I go. I think it is quite cool, and I don't know really why. I just think a car going into the air, spinning and staying going is quite cool. So we start going again, and I'm actually going the correct way for once. But then, here comes Mr. Strulovic, or Lance Stroll. I don't know why I call him that sometimes. I feel like I might have heard it online somewhere, and I don't know where. But Stroll comes in and just hits Bottas for pretty much no reason. So here's kind of what Bottas sees. He's slowly starting to get going again. And then there's Mr. Strulovic taking him out. Still don't know why I'm calling him that, but I am. And then here comes Stroll himself. Not care in the world, and he just goes straight for the 2 cars instead of the side where there's no cars. For kind of like no reason. And then I'll show you cinematic. So Stroll races down and into the back of Bottas for like no reason. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's the last DNF in the race. As then after those 2 go out, and nobody else goes out after them, I decide to drive around, cutting so many corners to get 30-second time medley at the end. I come around and finish. I thought now would be a fun time to show the current championship statistics. So first off we have Lando Norris in McLaren, followed by Nobuharu Matsushita, the rookie of this F1 season I'm doing for 2023, followed by Valtteri Bottas, Nicholas Latifi, Guan Yu Zhou, Sergio Perez, Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz, Mick Schumacher. I feel like this is a quite fun toward the table, just because it's one that could happen if every team was kind of equal, but it's also quite unusual. Anyway, then we have Mick Schumacher, then Daniel Ricciardo and me, Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, Lance Stroll, Mr. Strulovic there, Pierre Gasly, and Yuki Tsunoda, Giuliano Alesi and George Russell. And then we have Max Verstappen, Nikita Mazepin, and then Lewis Hamilton and Antonio Giovinazzi doing really badly down at the bottom there, with less than 10 points. So the top 7 are all unique teams, and then the top 10, there's only one team that appears twice, and it's the Alpine team. Actually, there's going to be another one. I'm just being blind. Wait, no, there isn't. There's 11 teams, which leaves the Alpha Towers and the Williams to be on their own. Anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and goodbye. Also, thank you for enjoying.